Benningborough Hall stands proudly in the North Yorkshire countryside, and once being privately owned, it is now run by the National Trust, who are celebrating women on the 100th anniversary of women starting to gain the right to vote.
All the families that have lived at Benningborough Hall have had strong women as the role models, the mother figures. We've had Victorian women with lots of children building a family and a household. We've had Lady Chesterfield, who was the last woman to live here. She was a strong woman. She had racehorses, she bred dogs, she ran the household more or less by herself as well. So I think we have a tradition of strong Yorkshire women at Benningborough.
Benningborough Hall has a very strong connection with the National Portrait Gallery, as all the pictures on show are on loan from the London Museum.
We've had a partnership with them since the early 80s, when we had basically a bare house with lots of Georgian walls to fill, and they had lots of Georgian portraits that they could fill them with. So we are an outpost, a northern outpost of the National Portrait Gallery, and our current exhibition are all portraits that they've had on their walls at some point. Some of them have been commissioned by the National Portrait Gallery, and so they are some of their most iconic and famous portraits, some of them, so we are really very, very privileged to have them.
And what do visitors think about walking around the historic building and seeing familiar faces along the walls?
It's great to actually see the female portraits out. If you're downstairs in the building, you'll notice that there's a hell of a lot of men down there. But up here, we've got lots of women, and prestigious women that are writing. And at that time, writing was something that women didn't do, did they? And we've got two authors here. So, yeah, it's pretty good to see women were there doing things in the beginning.
They're fabulous, the pictures. Yeah. Very different, very...
Absolutely. In this year of the woman, it's great to see them celebrating it.
Yeah.
And you've got such a cross-section as well. It's not just, you mind, like the Amy Winehouse and Judi Dench. It's such a cross-section of women. So, yeah, it's really, really interesting.
When there's so much conversation at the moment in the media about gender and about gender equality, it's actually quite nice to see the power and success of women that are portrayed in these pictures.
And it appears one famous film star who used to live in the city is a favourite with the visitors.
I think Judi Dench has got to be my favourite, because I think she's caught perfectly on that.
Judi Dench?
Judi Dench, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, she's an amazing woman anyway, but really inspiration.
It's large,
yeah.
It's natural, it's lovely, yeah, and she is. And she's from Yorkshire.
The exhibition is hoped to influence its visitors into creating their own pieces of art during the workshops the hall are due to put on.
We're going to be holding interactive events every Friday afternoon during May and June, where people can just drop in for workshops. During May, the workshops are going to be based around art, and we'll be creating our own art. We're going to use the art that we've got on the walls here to explore different aspects of painting and portraiture. We are starting this Friday with a look at self-portraiture. And so we're going to be using a few techniques. We're either going to be using digital techniques or paper and pencil drawing techniques. And we're going to look at how you would represent yourself in a self-portrait, not only sort of how you would look like, but what you would have in your portrait. You might have your pets in your portrait, you might have things that you enjoy doing, things that tell your story. So not only does that mean we'll be doing some artwork, it means that we'll just be taking some time for a bit of self-reflection, to look at ourselves, to think about what's important.
From Darcy Bussell to Amy Winehouse, it's clear to see that some of Britain's most recognised women in the arts are getting the recognition they deserve. Luke Taylor, That's TV.